Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Gopi Janavalabha Girivardhari Gopi Janavalabha Girivardhari Gopi Janavalabha Girivardhari Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Gopi Janavalabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Janavalabha Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Tira Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Jaya Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet Nasta Prayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtaki. So we are continuing reading from 3rd Canto Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 29, entitled Explanation of Devotional Service, text number 8. Abhidsadhaya yo himsam, Abhidsadhaya yo himsam, Dambam matsaryam evava, Dambam matsaryam Samrambi binadrig bhavam, Mai kuyatsa tamasaha, Abhidsadhaya yo himsam, Dambam matsaryam evava, Samrambi bindadrig bhavam, Mai kuyatsa tamasaha, Abhidsadhaya yo himsam, Dambam matsaryam evava, Samrambi dinadrig bhavam, Mai kuyatsa tamasaha, Abhidsadhaya yo himsam, Dambam matsaryam evava, Sambrahmina drig bhavam, Mai kuyatsa tamasaha, Abhidsadhaya yo himsam, Dambam matsaryam evava, Sambrahmi dinadrig bhavam, Mai kuyatsa tamasa. Mataji's? Abhidsadhaya yo himsam, Dambam matsaryam evava, Samrambi dinadrig bhavam, Mai kuyatsa tamasa. Abhidsadhaya yo himsam, Dambam matsaryam evava, Samrambi dinadrig bhavam, Mai kuyatsa tamasaha. Okay. Adhibsaya, having in view, Ya, he who, himsam, violence, dambam, pride, matsaryam, envy, eva, indeed, va, or, samrambi, angry, bina, separate, drik, whose vision, bhavam, devotional service, mai, to me, kuruyat, may do, Sa. He. Tamasaha. In the mode of ignorance. So I'll just repeat the having in view he who violence, pride, envy, indeed, awe, angry, separate, whose vision, devotional service to me may do he in the mode of ignorance. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki. Devotional service executed by a person who is envious, proud, violent and angry, and who is a separatist, is considered to be in the mode of darkness. Purport. It has already been stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam, 1st Canto, 2nd chapter, that the highest, most glorious religion is the attainment of causeless, unmotivated devotional service. That would be Savai Pumsam Parul Dharmo. In pure devotional service, the only motive should be to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is not actually a motive. That is the pure condition of the living entity. In the conditioned stage, when one engages in devotional service, he should follow the instruction of the bona fide spiritual master in full surrender. The spiritual master is the manifested representation of the Supreme Lord, because he receives and presents the instructions of the Lord as they are by disciplic succession. It is described in Bhagavad Gita that the teachings therein should be received by disciplic succession, otherwise there is adulteration. To act under the direction of a bona fide spiritual master with a motive to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead is pure devotional service. But if one has a motive for personal sense gratification, his devotional service is manifested differently. Such a man may be violent, proud, envious, and angry, and his interests are separate from the Lord's. One who approaches the Supreme Lord to render devotional service, but who is proud of his personality, envious of others, or vengeful, and is in the mode of anger, he thinks that he is the best devotee. Devotional service executed in this way is not pure. It is mixed and is of the lowest grade, tamasaha. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur advises that a Vaishnava who is not of good character should be avoided. A Vaishnava is one who has taken the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the ultimate goal of life. But if one is not pure and still has motives, then he is not a Vaishnava of the first order of good character. One may offer his respects to such a Vaishnava, but he is accepted because he has accepted the Supreme Lord as the ultimate goal of life. But one should not keep company with a Vaishnava who is in the mode of ignorance. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation again. Devotional service executed by a person who is envious, proud, violent and angry, and who is a separatist, is considered to be in the mode of darkness. Nama Om Vishnupada Krishna Pista Bodhale Srimani Tamal Krishna Goswami Iti Namane. Oh, by the way, I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and by the mercy of my spiritual master, he is kindly forcing open my eyes with the torchlight of transcendental knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. So we're hearing of like mixed devotional service in comparison to pure devotional service. So if we're all honest and we look at ourselves, we're all a little bit mixed, some more than others, because we are born under the modes of material nature. When we take this birth, we all have these three, goodness, passion and ignorance, in there somehow or other. So this is the material energy. And we understand that we've come here, taken birth in this material world, because we wanted to be like Krishna. We wanted to be the enjoyer, the controller, and what have you like that. So now we have accepted Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we've all accepted Krishna as being Swayam Bhagavan, the cause of all causes. But still some of us are deeply under the modes of ignorance, darkness, pride, envy. All these qualities are there. So regardless, still we can make advancement. It's not that we are finished, but we have to understand that the power of devotional service is so great that it can purify anybody, especially this Yugadharma Sankirtan, Harinam Sankirtan, this chanting of the holy names of the Lord. That is the most wonderful thing for those that are deeply in the mode of ignorance. Speaking of myself, just complete darkness, meditation, nothing there, just darkness. But still we accept Krishna as being the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So it is explained that we should not associate like that. I think Rupa Goswami in the Nectar of Instruction has mentioned it, and it's been mentioned in many other places as well, that we should avoid the association of those who have these qualities, because whoever we associate with will take on their qualities. So if you associate with someone who is envious and who is critical and who is proud and angry, then you'll be listening to their guitar. And they will be saying this and that and this one and that one. And by this oral reception, your heart will become contaminated. So we have to be wary of those that are always blaspheming and criticizing. This is something we have to watch out for. And again, it's mentioned by Rupa Goswami, the Vacho Vegam, Manasa Krodha Vegam, the tongue, belly and genitals have got to be controlled, and so we should be careful of what we're saying. Even if we're thinking it, check the tongue, don't speak it. So this is a practice that we have to do. We're controlling the tongue. And Prabhupada would say always, just chant Hare Krishna to control the tongue. So, I was born in the darkness of ignorance, but I am accepting Krishna. So I am performing devotional service, somewhat in the mode of ignorance because of my birth and my past activities. But by the mercy of the spiritual master and the whole disciplic succession, they are like raining down the samsara dava nadalila. They're raining, the shower is raining on everybody. It's not only for the brahmanas or the kshatriyas, it is for the sudras and kalo sudra. In Kali Yuga we all have this sudra mentality to some degree, if we are honest. Honesty is also another very good quality. Honesty is very helpful in us giving up this pride and thinking we are somebody great. No, we are not somebody great. We are just very fortunate. That's what we are. We're very fortunate. We are not anybody. We are just receiving what is coming down. Because I was thinking, when I got my very first book, I've told this story quite a few times now, got my first book when we were coming down the motorway. And me personally, I was in the back seat, stoned off my head, just intoxicated, completely in the mode of ignorance. But still the devotees came up beside our car and gave us a book as we're going down the motorway. And here I was in the back, completely just immersed in darkness. So this is the inconceivable mercy, isn't it? Inconceivable mercy. That book stayed in my cupboard until the material energy gave me a big kick. And then I was realizing the frailty of this material world, and I remembered that book is in my cupboard. And I pulled that book out, and it was the story of Srila Prabhupada's life coming to America. And that was just very humbling. Seeing how such a very elevated personality as Srila Prabhupada, who was fully realized, was going to the darkest depths of the Bowery in New York and Boston, like that, associating with all the hippies and living with them, cooking for them, serving them. Prabhupada was serving these people that we are talking about in the mode of ignorance. Prabhupada was serving them. As soon as they accepted Krishna as being the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Prabhupada would very happily serve them like that, knowing that they're on this path, because it's explained this path is there's many paths as we're going down the track. There are many signs, go this way, go that way, there's sense enjoyment, there's all these things on the path that are being offered to us. So because we are not pure and we are mixed, we have got some motives within our hearts. Now, it's not a bad thing. We shouldn't think that we're finished and we're not going to make advancement. No, there's so many potent things. The holy name, for one, is very, very potent. Hearing Srimad Bhagavatam is also very, very potent. You could be here in class and virtually asleep, but still the sound is going in and entering the heart. This is the potency of hearing the glories of Krishna. How he's lifting Govardhan Hill, how he's swinging Radharani in the groves of Vrindavan, and just hearing the wonderful activities of Krishna. Then we gradually become attracted. how wonderful he is lying in the causal ocean, and the lotus stem is coming out and Lord Brahma is taking birth, all these wonderful activities. Now, if we accept this with faith, with Shraddha, then that is also very, very helpful. If we accept it as being the absolute truth, Tattvadarshana, then we're able to see the absolute truth, gradually. So this is what we are aspiring for. But we hear that we have to watch who we associate with. And we're all associating with our minds. You know, it'd be good if we could just take that one out and trade it in and put in a new chip, like we put in our phones. Put in a new chip that's in the mode of goodness. That would be very helpful. So we just have to accept who we are and what we are, and just be very grateful. Thank you, Srila Prabhupada, for making the books, going to all that effort to cross the ocean, having those heart attacks, and then constantly translating the Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is our good fortune. So we have to accept it as being a great gift and treat it as a great treasure. There's the stories of when shortly after Lord Chaitanya's departure, the devotees were travelling with all the books, and the king heard that these men were coming through with a great treasure. And they were thinking that the king was thinking the treasure was gold and jewels. But no, the treasure was these books. So that's the reality of these books. They are so valuable. You know, so we have to associate with the book, because by reading the purports, we're associating with Prabhupada, isn't it? You want my association? You know, read my books. You want to know me? Read my books. So these instructions are there for us. So we've got to take that medicine and associate intensely, study the purports and try and understand what is being said, because we go through and we're hearing the same things again and again and again. But then it's like the penny drops, or we get a little glimpse of the realization that I'm not this body. Such a wonderful thing to realize that we are not what we think we are, because the false ego is there telling us, and we can't escape it. We can't escape this ahankara very easily. That is like the last snare, or the shackles. So to think that we're not this body is not such an easy thing, but occasionally we'll get a glimpse. And then we become not so concerned with what's going on. You know, when you understand that you're none of this. You're not the hand, you're not the leg. You're actually just the jiva dwelling within. And lo and behold, the super soul is right next to you. So we get this understanding that, you know, we're not the body, and then that the Supreme Lord is always with you. You're never alone. Such a wonderful thing to be told, isn't it? To be told that you're never alone. God is always with you, and He is your best friend. So we get all this information. So if we accept that with full faith, then whatever happens to us, we see that as being the arrangement of the Lord. Whatever it might be, getting criticised, blasphemed, you know, beaten in so many marketplaces, we're accepting that Lord, and Lord Jesus Christ is accepting. So we have to try gradually and develop this mood that whatever good and bad is going to come, it's all right, totally fine. Krishna knows what's going on. As long as we just try and absorb ourselves in remembering Him. This manmana bhava, but remember Krishna in our distress and also in our happiness. Remember Krishna. Be grateful, have that gratitude. And in this way, our consciousness is becoming more conscious of Krishna, so that we're developing that mentality that we start to develop love for Krishna, which is another thing again. So we're going from devotional service in the mode of ignorance, and we can develop to pure devotional service simply by coming and hearing and rendering some service, doing some activities. Our fruitive activities have got to be given up. Gradually again, it's a gradual thing. Fruitive activities are explained as that which binds us to this material world. We can have a mountain of sinful activity or pious activity, and that's going to hold us here. We can't leave if we've got all this credit. All these credits are there. So we want no credits, or we want to get all those credits and we just want to give it all to Krishna. Here, you take all the credits. I don't want to have to come back and take birth in a heavenly planet and have many beautiful wives and many maidservants and sit on a golden throne and think everything is very good. because the time factor will come along and chop off your head. The time factor is there. That's the dilemma that we're in. You know, it's such an amazing arrangement that we can have whatever we want in this material world. You can have a heavenly planet. You can even be Lord Brahma and oversee the entire universe. If that is your desire, then that is okay. You can have that. But still remember that from the highest planet down to the lowest planet, all are places of repeated birth and death. So you're fooling yourself. You know, the great authorities will say that you're a fool because you are lying in the lap of the witch of Maya. You know, so Jeev Jago, wake up to your real identity, give up your fruitive activities, and render loving devotional service to Krishna. Now, the amazing thing is that when we start doing devotional service to Krishna, our attraction increases more. You know, we hear of his wonderful activity of lifting Govardhan Hill. Such a wonderful activity that was taking place there to show that he is God, but also so that he could have darshan of Radharani for 7 days. He was not silly. He was very much attached to the gopis, and he didn't want them to go home that night. So why not just stay with them there, have them all there for 7 days and 7 nights? So that was the pleasure of Krishna. He was there seeing Radharani. But we're also relishing this pastime because it's showing Krishna's greatness, how he's able to defeat Indra. So when we accept all these pastimes and we start doing service to the Lord, we become more convinced and our faith becomes stronger, and then it starts to progress to taste, ruchi, and all this, all the way up to praying. This is what happens if we so desire. If we still desire our fruitive activities, then what can Krishna do? You know, so we have to pray that, please, dear Lord, remove all the obstacles on this path. The wealth, you know, and not only the wealth, but all these other negative things here, the anger, the envy, you know, the lust. Please remove all these obstacles, because they are obstacles. You know, we hear of how powerful this lust is, and Krishna is warning us in the Bhagavad Gita about this lust. But oh my God, it just keeps coming and coming. This lust is just like relentless. This is the nature of the world, so we just have to accept, okay, that's what it is, but still I'm going to be determined. I'm going to have this determination that I'm going to make Krishna my lover, but that might be a bit of another duke, but I want to be attracted to Krishna. I don't want to be attracted to this bag of stool, which is very nicely shaped in the form of a woman. It just bewilders the mind of a man, completely bewilders us. So we've got to know the dangers, know where all the landmines are, and avoid the landmines, and stay on the path. And then we will gradually make advancement, and we will actually become very, very joyful, because we won't be so much affected when the calamities come. We won't be identifying so much with the calamities. But it's a very gradual process. We can't imitate it. You can't imitate that I am detached, I am renounced, neti, it doesn't affect me. We can't imitate like that. The material energy is so strong, way, way stronger than us. So the best way is to do devotional service to Krishna. Please the Supreme Controller by pleasing him and his devotees. Then everything is taken care of very easily. It's all taken care of. We don't have to try and struggle and climb the ladder. It's like we hop in the lift and we go up in the lift, simply by performing devotional service in a favourable way. So it's very, very simple for the simple, but very difficult for those that are angry, envious, and have these negative qualities in the mode of ignorance. Very difficult for them. When they come, I was thinking it's like when, was it Duryodhana and Yudhisthira were sent out to look for somebody that was more, I can't remember, it was in the Mahabharata. There's a pastime where Duryodhana, I think it was Yudhisthira, they were sent out to find somebody that is greater than them, I think it was, something like that. I can't remember exactly what it was. But Duryodhana couldn't find anybody because of his pride. Remember, he couldn't find anybody that was better than him. But Yudhisthira could very easily find somebody that was better than him. So this has to be our mentality. We have to look and see everybody and accept that everybody is actually better than I am. And this is the mood of the advanced devotees. They are seeing themselves as being the most fallen because they can see how this illusory energy is so powerful and how it's so difficult to overcome, and how I am full of lust, greed and anger. That's what the advanced devotees are saying. So as they're becoming more advanced, they're feeling more and more degraded. It's a very a difficult thing to grasp at first. You know how when you become more advanced, you actually feel more less advanced, so to speak, or you feel more unqualified, because we start to see the greatness of the Lord, and actually just looking at the beauty of Radharani. You know, you look at that, how Radharani is dressed today, and have a close look. If you haven't had a close look, you have a look at that, and that is just the most amazing thing. You know, and how can we be qualified by any stretch of our imagination to be able to enter into such a thing, to come directly in touch with such pure transcendence? You know, Radharani. So we feel very unqualified to be able to come into their presence as we become more advanced. But still, we should be determined that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Govindam Adipurusham. We should just never let that go. Hang on to that, because then by hanging on to that, then there is great hope. Krishna will make arrangements for us. He will take away that which is inhibiting our advancement. So if we're very strong and healthy and robust, he may take our health away. And that's going to be taken away in due course of time anyhow. This is the wonderful thing about this material world. As we stay in here longer and longer, everything starts to fall apart around us. So then for the intelligent person, he will see, oh my God, you know, skin cancer, you know, my limbs are hurting, you know, my skin is starting to sag, you know, my teeth are falling out, it's going grey. So the intelligent person will realise and see the signs that, my God, time is taking everything away. Your youth is long gone. So this is the intelligent person. So you study the Bhagavatam for your life, and then when things start falling apart, you'll see, oh, the signs are coming. What must I do? And it's very simple. Just chant Hare Krishna, come to the Sunday feast, take Krishna Prasadam, associate with the devotees, ask for some service, develop a relationship with Krishna. And by developing this relationship with Krishna, then inconceivable things start to happen. And then he will liberate us. You know, liberation is outside at the front door. We've already, by coming in here, we've passed liberation. We're already liberated in here. You know, liberation's out there. We're in here now where we get this opportunity to do something wonderful for Krishna and to develop a relationship with him. So why would you not want to develop a relationship with the Supreme Controller, and who has such a pretty girlfriend? You know, like, my God, why would you not want to associate with somebody who has Srimati Radharani standing by his side? You know, we would want to, you know, but we've got to give up that envy, that I want to be Krishna. No. Just serve Krishna. And by serving Krishna, you come into their association and you get to have their darshan. And just by seeing the Lord, we become fully satisfied. It is said, fully satisfied by seeing the Lord, hearing about the Lord. We're satisfied. This is the best thing in the material world. There's nothing better. No amount of wealth, no amount of wives and palaces or planets or anything is as sweet as being able to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead like that. We hear of how the four Kumaras, simply by smelling the tulsi leaves, were attracted. So we just pray that we become attracted also. We have to pray to Krishna, please give me the eyes to see you. The eyes of love, this, you know, smear our eyes with this praying so that we can see you with love. And then we'll become mad after you. And this is what we're aspiring. We want to be mad after Krishna. We don't want to be mad after the bank balance and all these other things that just keep us here. And if we're really, really honest, where's the happiness? You know, you might have many zeros in your bank balance, but still when you get up in the morning, you've got to pass stool, you know, and you've got to wash your body, and then you've got to do so many things, and the aches and pains are still coming. You may have tooth decay, or you may have to have a triple bypass, and so many things can go wrong with the body, even though you've got so many zeros in your bank account. Still triple bypass, problems with the children, all these things that we can't control. So we're fooling ourselves if we think that money is going to solve these problems. The best way to solve the problem is to become detached, but gradually detached, not falsely. Go through married life, have some children, have the joy of watching them grow up and all that sort of thing. Enjoy that challenge of raising a family, and then as time goes on, become wise. When you see old age approaching, then you become wise in how you direct your life. And we've got this whole varnashram system there to help us, to guide us, so that we can, for the men, they can become freed up a little bit if they're able to. The varnashram system is very scientific on how to detach yourself and absorb yourself in the Supreme. By detachment, handing it over to the children, and that you can get into a position where you have nothing else to do except sit down, read, talk, preach. So this is what we're aspiring for, but regardless of where we are on this devotional path, it's glorious, wherever it may be. Like even last night on Harinam, there's some wonderful little things that took place. You see, this little child could just barely walk. This little girl came across the street, and she was walking, and her mother was holding her hand, and then she just stopped, and she turned to the kirtan, this baby and she was just jigging up and down like this. She wouldn't have been probably 1.5, This little girl was just there, just into the kirtan like anything, for a couple of minutes, just completely appreciating this Sankirtan movement, and she's only like 1.5. And it was such a wonderful thing to see within how the jiva, the attraction was just, so amazing. The mother was very happy. You see, I've seen it a couple of times now, where a child who could barely walk just stops there and it's just into the kirtan. So this is our good fortune, that the Yuga Dharma is here for us, because otherwise we would have missed the boat and we would have been here for countless lifetimes. But due to the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is taking it out and he is freely distributing this Harinam Sankirtan, which can bring us to the highest level, which actually is the highest thing. It's just we don't realize it. We don't realize what is in the Maha Mantra. The Maha Mantra has got everything in it. It's explained by the great authorities. It's like the embracing of Radha and Krishna. So that's a very, very elevated thing. But it's right there on the tip of our tongue. If we're in the right consciousness, we can perceive all these wonderful things that are there within the name. We hear that Krishna is in his name. It's just that we're not quite realizing it yet. So we have to have patience and determination and have that strong faith that Krishna is within his name, and that the loving pastimes are in the Maha Mantra. Because, and Lord Chaitanya is Radha and Krishna combined. What more could you ask for? Actually, what more could we ask for than to receive the mercy of Radha and Krishna? And it has come in the form of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Nityananda, and it's been offered to us. We've just got to take it. But we are such fools and rascals, speaking of myself, that we are still immersed in this mode of everything. We're not taking the greatest thing within all of existence. We're still resisting. So we have to just come and hear about it more and more. And gradually, the penny will drop, and we will be in awe and reverence when we come in here and take darshan of Shri Shri Radha Giridhari. Shri Shri Radha Giridhari ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Gaura Premnandi. Okay, I'll read the verse. Devotional service executed by a person who is envious, proud, violent and angry, and who is a separatist is considered to be in the mode of darkness. Any questions or comments? This is a very good chapter. Everybody should read this chapter and the chapters around it.
Just a comment.
Yes.
In the translation, the word separatist, it's quite unusual. We haven't come across that in the translations before. So I began to wonder what it was, but of course it means doing anything that is not for the pleasure of Krishna.
Yes. And also I'm thinking avoiding the association of devotees. Hiding away. And we see with people with... so Madhuri, just for the benefit of the microphone. Madhu was mentioning this word, separatist has come up in the translation, and we don't hear this word very often, a separatist. It's something, we always hear of this bhava and all these other wonderful words, but separatists we don't hear of so much. So one who is actually mentally ill, they close themselves off from everybody, pretty much. But the best way for them to recover is to associate with people and do something for somebody else. For someone that's mentally ill, the best thing they can do for their recovery is to help others. Because they're in this whole mentality, poor me, this and that, poor me, the whole world's so mean, I want to take my life. When you become mentally ill, you can go get into this trap. But the way to get out of that trap is through service to others. Do something for somebody else. And then that uplifts you, makes you feel better. You've done something to help somebody else. It's an act of love. So that's what we also have to do as devotees. We've got to lovingly serve other devotees. We might think, yeah, lovingly serve the devotees. But no, it's an essential part of developing our pure consciousness. Doing seva to whoever, even if it's to somebody in the mode of ignorance. Serve some devotee. We may not associate with them, but we offer our respects, and we can offer them prasadam. So this whole service thing, this active service, is what really helps develop our consciousness greatly. So if the opposite of that is being a separatist, not associating with anybody, not hearing from anybody, I know it all, I'm all right, everybody else is in Maya except me, bad association, bad, negative, and then you're all by yourself, and you've just got your own mind. A very dangerous place to be, is just alone with your mind. We have to associate. We must associate. It's a very, very important aspect. That's why Prabhupada has built this international society, so that we can associate together, serve each other in that humble mood, and then by serving in a humble mood, Krishna will like that. Krishna will like to see that we are serving the others. And then he'll give us enlightenment within, as we hear. I am dwelling within everyone's heart. From me comes remembrance, knowledge, forgetfulness. So by pleasing Krishna through our actions of service to the devotees, you benefit greatly. Don't think you're losing out by cooking for the devotees. I've got to cook for the devotees again. There used to be some devotees that were like that. They were cooking, but they were doing it in a begrudging way. So it didn't take long before they left. Krishna said, okay, you don't want to cook for the devotees, you can fall into Maya and leave, and we'll bring somebody else in. So if we do it in the right mood, if we do the service in the right mood, not wanting anything in return, we're not doing it because we want money, we don't want fame or recognition, we're doing it because we want to please Krishna. It's what Krishna wants. So by doing what Krishna wants, then Krishna becomes happy with you, and he's the supreme controller, and he can do anything. He can lift the whole mountain on his little finger. So by having this faith and determination and understanding of the potency of devotional service, and just being humble and being a servant, then your whole, internally within your heart, the whole spiritual world can be revealed. That's what we hear about. We hear from the previous acharyas when they're writing, especially Vishwanath Chakravarti, he's talking about the land of Vrindavan. And he can't stop talking about the land of Vrindavan because it's manifest within him. The whole land of Vrindavan is in there, and he's seeing the pastimes of the Lord. He is seeing the very intimate meetings of Radha and Krishna. He's seeing so much within. But externally you wouldn't pick it. He'd be sitting under a tree dressed in a raggedy piece of cloth, and you would never know. So we should not judge with our eyes who is who and what is what. We should just accept that I am a great fool and I need the mercy, and the best way to get the mercy is to please the devotees. And then by pleasing the devotees, Krishna will become pleased. Don't think he won't see it. He will definitely see it because he's in your heart, and you'll become very, very blissful. So it's a very subtle science, but we have to be wary of the things. Don't become a separatist and isolate yourself and think everybody else is bad. Oh, the management is this and this is that, and find all the reasons, because it's very easy to find the reasons. There's so many faults. We're all full of faults. This is Kali Yuga. Come on, let's be honest. We are full of faults. But there's still one wonderful thing, and that is this process of Harinam Sankirtan, Prasadam distribution, hearing the Bhagavatam, serving the deity. There's all these wonderful things. So don't let your mind trick you too much. Stay connected. Come to the temple on a regular basis, if you can. Or if you're not able to come to the temple, like I didn't come to the temple for so long. But I was desiring it. It was within my heart. I want to go back. I want to serve Radha Giridhari. So then Krishna made all the arrangements for me so that I could come back. So I'm very grateful for that. Now I've just got to pray that please don't kick me away. Let me stay here. Let me have that mood of humility. Please help me be humble. Because I'm full of pride, arrogance, separatism, all these other mode of ignorance things are there. So we've got to pray for Krishna. Please help me remain humble so that I can stay here. I want to stay here so that when I take my last breath, I can hopefully enter into your pastimes. That's what we want to do. We don't want to enter into our pastimes. We want to enter into Krishna's pastimes because our pastimes are a disaster. It starts with birth and then, growth and producing products, then dwindling and death. That's not a very glorious pastime. But that's something that we're stuck in. This is our pastime. Birth and death is our Leela. So we want to get out of that Leela and into Krishna's Leela, which is eternal. So become convinced by studying these books and you'll become very happy. You'll want the association of the devotees. So this separatist thing is a very good point, Madhuri. We don't hear of it often, but it's something that we have to be wary of. Don't lock yourself up. Open yourself up. Any other questions or comments?
You were saying that even one has so many zero dollar.
So many, sorry?
$0 it means even if one has so many $0 it doesn't make one happy.
No.
Here talking about even so many $0 balance in the bank.
I know one billionaire. I know a billionaire. He's a billionaire. He's got all these zeros. He's got so many assets, but he's got so many headaches.
Yes. So it doesn't make one makes happy. Yes. And my reflection about this is that the main problem was actually we are evolving to the cycle of awareness. So it's really that's why it doesn't make really happy. People are not really happy about it.
Yeah, money is very helpful, no doubt. But as far as happiness goes, the two are totally separate. Sukha, and then whatever the word is for monetary gain, wealth and money, or wealth and happiness. Well, we're just going to look at the life of Indra. Indra has so many major calamities and problems going on. He's always running away from somebody. Someone's trying to kill him, but he's very wealthy. So, simple living. Prabhupada would encourage us to live simply. But hey, if you have that tendency and you are a Vaishya and you've got money and you manage it well, that's not a bad thing either. It's not bad. It's just you have to gradually become detached from it. Rupa Goswami gives us the instructions of, 50% for the temple and save 25% for your own personal maintenance. So how to arrange your money like that if you're able to do like that. But it is difficult. We are struggling in this Kali Yuga. You just got to see the prices of things. It's a struggle. I was always in anxiety of money when I was younger. How am I going to do this? How, where? But Krishna came along and helped out. So we shouldn't be overly anxious, but we have to be productive, especially in the Grihastha ashram. Money is something we have. It's like an art on how to utilize it, how to use it in the service of the devotees would be the best thing. But we have to maintain and set everything up and make a nice palatial arrangement for our household and for our children. We've got to arrange nicely for them if we're able to. And then once all that is done, once the children are set up, then you can unplug it a little bit more and start to focus more. So it's a lifetime in preparation, Prabhupada did the same thing. We learned from his life also. He was trying to create his business and what have you like that. So we should be also, we shouldn't just be lazy. Lazy's not a good thing. We have to be doing something. So make money, but don't worry about how many zeros are there. Don't become overly anxious about it, because your stockpile of your karma is there. It's already been predestined. As soon as we took birth, it was determined already what was going to happen, what we did in our last lives, whether we were very pious, whether we dug many wells and were very charitable. If we did that in our past lives, then we've got so much coming. But if we were miserly and in the mode of ignorance, and we were violent and angry, then we'll struggle our whole lives. And we'll be so angry with Krishna. But we were the cause of it. We have to accept full responsibility for our situation. 100%. We are fully responsible and nobody else is to blame. I am the one that is responsible for my situation. And so then we just accept that, and we humbly, in a very nice mood, we treat everybody with respect, even whether we're rich or whether we're poor. We treat everybody with respect, and then Krishna will become pleased, and like I was saying, then so much can happen within our heart. So it's all about the mood, having the right mood and the service mood. It can bring so much beyond our expectations like that. Okay? Right, let's leave it. Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, no, we'll leave it there. It's getting late. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Gaura Premanandi.